What is good, everyone? It is the guy that everyone loves to hate, your boy, the Crooked Commish here. Back at it again. Took an extended break last week because of the 4th of July. Just enjoying ourselves a little too much. And like I said, decided to take some time off, spend more time with the family, just hang out and kind of relax more. So, not to mention, there's not too much going on in the off season right now. Training camp is right around the corner. Thank God. It is getting so damn boring, just kind of waiting for something to happen. So, but as soon as camp starts, that means fantasy football drafts are that much closer. So, and then once the drafts happen, that means we get to the Hall of Fame game, and then we're off and running, guys. So, cannot wait for that to happen. We are going to talk about what's going on with the drafts here and your strategies and what do you guys look for? What players are you hoping to get, who you're dying to get, you need to get in this draft here to have your team go all the way and maybe get one of those belts back there. Yeah. Get multiple ones. I need another one to put up top and then another one to put on top of that. So those belts are retired. They don't fit me no more. So, but anyways, guys, I won't be alone. Of course, I have the Mouth from the Bay joining me here talking about the draft strategy. Let us know what you guys like to do. Like I said, what player are you hoping to get? We're also going to look into some camp battles since camp is right around the corner. What players are going at it? What players are we hoping wins these battles? So, like I said, we can get them on our team and get another championship belt or ring, whatever. Or sometimes it's just all about that cold, hard cash. So, anyways, the Mouth from the Bay is here. We also have a familiar face to the clubhouse. Bogey is back to help us break down some more fantasy football talk, chop it up with us. So, guys, hit the thumbs up button as we go ahead and start this thing.
Clubhouse Network. Crash out, this a crash course, no lecture. Lay hack, keep a signal caller under pressure. Check the stats, finna up the score for the record. Chicago Clubhouse Network. Crash out, this a crash course, no lecture. Lay hack, keep a signal caller under pressure. Check the stats, finna up the score for the record. Introducing first, he the Crooked Commish, making sure it's understood that he him. Next up, he the Mouth from the Bay, dynamic duo. Hit you with an ounce of that game, they make you bow face and salute the truth. Curve all the blase, blind the whoop-de-whoop. On the path to the bag, got that money and the power. They gon' ball every fantasy football hour. Got them sour, these hacks can't hack it. Meanwhile, they on point like a cactus. Want smoke and get smoked like some cat piss. If you can't be good, then maybe good at it. Ay, Chicago Clubhouse Network. Crash out, this a crash course, no lecture. Lay hack, keep a signal caller under pressure. Check the stats, finna up the score for the record. Chicago Clubhouse Network. Crash out, this a crash course, no lecture. Lay hack, keep a signal caller under pressure. Check the stats, finna up the score for the record.
He could go all the way. Seeing the end of that clip all the time with Lamar Jackson spinning off, going in the end zone, man. You just knew that was winning somebody's fantasy game right there. When they quarterbacks go off for long runs and get the running touchdowns instead of the throwing touchdowns. That's why we love these scrambling quarterbacks. But at the same time, they do open themselves up for more injuries the more they run. So, but we'll get into that more. Let's go ahead and get our guest in here. First, like I said, the loudest mouth in the clubhouse. Well, I guess that's debatable since we have another mouth in the clubhouse, but one of the loudest mouths, I should say, in the clubhouse here. And especially from the Bay. He is the mouth from the Bay. Let's go.
What's up? Whoa, I love that opening, man. That shit just gets me fired to come up here and whoop your ass every time we hear that shit, dog. That shit just gets me freaking live. I love it, dog.
And that's why we do this show separately, because if we were in the studio, you'd fucking be like Randy Orton, my ass, fucking over the table.
I'm telling you, dog, fucking legend killer. I'll RKO your ass every time I see you.
I mean, at least you recognize that I am a legend. So
yeah. And in your own mind, motherfucker. That's about it, though.
regardless, doesn't matter. We're not that. It doesn't.
It's
matter.
like because you're not THWE mouth, like now that's a legend.
Allegedly.
Allegedly is a legend.
Let's go ahead and Lee, thanks for being in the chat.
What up, Lee?
So, and then let's go ahead and get our guest in here. Like I said, Bogey from the Gen Wealth Network. He's the one that was responsible for that opening intro.
That fucking banger.
Yeah.
Good.
We in this thing.
Hell yeah.
Man, pleasure being back with you fellas. You know what I mean?
Always. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. That thing do slap though, you know what I mean?
I'm telling you.
I feel like the painter that like draws something dope and goes, hey, that shit hard, right? Like
it's like it's not a knee slapper, but Anthony's right. If he was with me or not, I slap him in the forehead.
Oh man. My memory is really bad. My little one wants me to get her some water. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
No problem. So anyways, Mouth, we were talking in the background here a minute. We're obviously talking about some draft strategy and whatnot since, like I said, drafts are right around the corner. Some leagues have had their drafts already. Some guys are real crazy like that to where,
That's insane. Like
it is.
I could never have a draft. I'd be pissed if I had my draft pre mini camp, pre camp. That's just insane to me. Like so much changes, so many, teams that could trade for someone or do anything could happen. Someone gets hurt. That's just crazy to have a draft that early without knowing what the actual team might look like. You draft someone again and have them get cut. That's your second or third pick. That'd be so fucking. I mean, I would hate to be part of that league, but I would be interested to see how that would work out.
Well, not only that, but then there's also guys that are free agents that you would be interested in picking up, like maybe a Nick Chubb, in the later rounds and whatnot. But because they're free agents, they haven't signed anywhere yet. You're apprehensive to draft him because you don't know what situation he's going to.
That's like a 4-letter. That's a 4-syllable word. That's a good one, dog. Fuck you. Check for you.
Did I use that right?
Apprehensive. I mean, yeah, you used it right. Oh my God! Wow. So someone's been reading a book. Good for you.
No. It's just been this.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I've been around you. Who've been drinking before. That usually doesn't help. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is something a little older.
I'm just saying, man. Fucking someone play words with people they don't know. Got that words with friends skills right there.
I think I heard it on like a TV show once. I don't know. But anyways, you may be hesitant to kind of like, is that more suitable?
I mean, that's the other good one. You're on a roll. Fucking keep coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Anyways, let's get Bogey back in here. I was talking about that you may be cautious about drafting because they're not on a team yet. You don't know what system they're going to. How early?
You should have said, why don't you use apprehensive? That was the word of the day. That's the fucking word of the day. Apprehensive.
I was probably going to mispronounce it if I tried to say it again.
I can give you a list of aphrodisiacs. Unagi's one. So I've been mushrooms. Yeah.
Is there such a thing, Bogey, in your opinion, is having a draft too early? Because Mouth and I were talking, I know in a regular just redraft league, dynasty leagues and whatnot, keeper leagues can be different. But in a redraft league, is there such a time period to where it's like you say too early to draft?
I would say I'm either trying to draft like okay, for the sake of it, I don't like drafting redrafts until training camp for real, or at least after training camp. That's ideal. But like if people want to draft early, because that has happened before, like for example, a lot of people have this time of, I mean, the 2 weeks before the year kicks off, a lot of people designate that time for their drafts, right? So like whenever we used to have these analyst leagues where it's full of all these different content creators and analysts, whatnot, we usually would do those joints like around June or July. And I didn't mind those two because you can get super value on players because you see the fluctuation of ADPs when training camp comes around. Like say player A is making some noise, that it's going to shoot him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or there's negative blurbs on player A, and boom, and he might drop. You know what I mean? Like, so the fluctuation that's where you can find sweet spots, right? Like rookies you're probably going to get them cheaper the earlier you draft. You know what I mean? If you are a guy who's going in on some of these higher end rookies this year, because I'm redraft, it's to each their own, right? Like you're like, no matter what, people are gonna go in for Genty early. You know what I mean? No matter what, last year you couldn't tell no one to not take Marvin Harrison when they did. You know what I mean? So
Ted might be interesting this year too in Carolina because what's his name actually kind of looked like the actual NFL quarterback the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks of the year. So, I mean that might be an interesting situation. Like when we talking about rookies.
Yeah. And just I mean, I guess while we're on it, I mean, we're just segueing right into the draft strategy right now.
Yeah, might as well go ahead.
Okay, yeah, and like, I mean, I tend to not draft too many rookies like early. Maybe a Genty is an exception to the rule because he's a guy you could kind of lock in for close to 300 touches. I mean, they're talking about using multiple backs. I kind of don't believe that until I see it. But you know what I mean? You want to have
Mostert, it's like how old is Mostert now? He's like 33 now, something like that. Yeah. I mean, he's probably still fast, but I mean, obviously that they drafted that rookie high to give him the ball.
Yeah, and the rookie high should die out. Like, for example, say we get into training camp and then we see people, they're talking about Genties with the team twos, which wouldn't be unheard of, even though he's a first round pick, is because this is like when you got Pete Carroll, he's an old school minded guy. He might make you work for it. You know what I mean? And then veteran Mostert over there, who they might give that treatment first. Plus, we don't know how Genty is as a pass blocker. So like just that by proxy alone, he might not be a 3-down back if he can't pass pro good. I mean, yeah, he's over 200 pounds, but he's still 5'9" or whatever. You know what I mean? He might get ran over. We don't know these things yet. So like, these are things I'm not willing to take a risk on, but like, I understand it. And like, yeah, I guess and it would be fun to have a Genty share, but like, I'm not taking Genty over Puka or over, Derrick Henry and that's probably, and people are going to take Genty over Derrick Henry. Watch, you know what I mean? But I would just rather wait and see if I can get Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? Something who's tried and true, and I don't need to be, it's not dynasty. I don't need to be locked into this guy for years. I just need him for this season. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah.
And so does your opinion at all change? Like that's a running back, but guys that are going to be the starter quarterbacks, does that change at all with like a Cam Ward or even like a Caleb Williams of last year or Jaden Daniels last year? Does he become more intriguing just because of that particular position if he's guaranteed to be the starter?
And we're talking about QBs in a single QB?
Yeah, in a single QB redraft league, like how do you incorporate them into guys that actually have put tape on there?
I would probably never say I'm an early QB guy, but I'm okay if going early QB if say collectively they fall and like we're in the 4th round and Josh Allen is there. That's like a no-brainer. If I'm like, if I'm already like, okay, I got 3 receivers or I got.
To be honest, like the last few years, I have not seen that. It's that Josh Allen and
he's not going
to for a while. Freaking Mahomes was coming off in like the 1st round. I think we had a live draft where Mahomes went like 4th or 5th in one of our drafts like a few years ago. Like it was just crazy. Like
and that's the fun of home leagues, because as much as we can look at ADPs and stuff, people in your home leagues are going to simulate shit like that. Like, okay, I want a QB, and they just go get Mahomes in the 1st round.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but we have a friend, fucking Chaka of the world. That motherfucker will fucking draft 4 goddamn QBs in the first 5 picks. He's fucking insane.
He doesn't realize no one's going to trade with him.
Last year, he in back-to-back rounds, he got Josh Allen and then Patrick Mahomes. So it's like that's like the
That's
kind
right.
of curve.
Like
Awesome and super fun.
those live drafts are fucking wild, bro. They're just different. Like when you're live drafting someone and you see everybody else fucking tense the fuck up or change their strategy out like almost immediately, like in a damn
Yeah, and
QB
like
run goes out of nowhere or a kicker run goes out of nowhere. And someone reaches for defenses out of nowhere, and you're like, what in the
God,
fuck
it's
is going
good.
on? Like,
especially
Yeah.
because like for example, two of my main home leagues are or actually my only two home leagues are in they're on Yahoo. So it's funny because on Sleeper, it's a different savvy nature of people while they're when you're mock drafting, you're getting you're never going to be a shortage to find actual people during this time of year to mock. And then like you kind of see what people are actually doing. But then I'll get to my home draft in Yahoo and it's totally crazy because there's people that are mocking on there too. And they're mocking using Yahoo, but the Yahoo ADP is drastically different from Sleeper. You know what I mean? Well, maybe not drastically, but it's different.
I mean, how many mock drafts do you guys
running
do?
backs are always
Before you
going
actually do a real draft? Like,
running backs are going
how many
high.
mock drafts do you guys do?
And
Oh, man.
it also Yahoo, their default is half point PPR. So like, you know what I mean? Like it's still going to be running back centric. You know what I mean? And it's fighting with the old style. You know what I mean? The running backs they died the quickest to me. Like they're the most volatile to die. Not to say that everyone isn't at risk to getting hurt. They all have a 100% chance of getting hurt. Just them stepping on the field. Period. It's just the probable nature of injuries. Period. But running backs do have a higher probability to me because of the physical nature of them between tackles, things of that nature. Right? They're taking a beating. So it's hard for me to like go up and get like unless it's a Bijan or a Gibbs, guys like that. I'm not really going up high for running backs. I'm just gonna diagnose mid-round running backs that I really like, and I'm gonna pound as many of the elite receivers as I can get my hands on.
I mean, I did like Cooks last year because he was a fucking touchdown vulture. So I mean, it does one thing that does happen with the running backs over wide receivers that depending on the team, that running back might just eat all day long when it comes from the goal line. So, but like I was saying, like how many drafts do you guys do though? Like I might do a couple here and there. But
I have to say it ramps up the closer it gets to the season. Like right now, I may do like a mock draft like once every week, but then as the season starts to kick off, I'm doing like multiple mock drafts a week and stuff, especially 10-man to 12-man and whatnot. But yeah, by the end of it, I'm at least at the triple double digits as far as doing a mock draft, not getting close to there, just how many different ones and trying different spots, different strategies and whatnot. To a different group of guys just to kind of see what my team could look like. So
I mean that's what Mox is about, right? Like experiment, do this. Plus, like if I'm at certain junctures, I could be like, "Oh, I'm gonna take player A here, and then let's see how it turns out." But then I always know when I was at that junction, I could have took player B, and then I would have different looks of a team. You know what I mean? Like, and then mocks are important too, like you said, when you do them closer to when you're actually drafting as well, because it's like that could be the current like if you were accustomed to player A falling to mid rounds and now you're getting closer to week one and this guy's going up higher, you got it, you can't wait for that value you were getting a month ago.
That's true. Because that's why I say those live drafts always fucking kill you because like I do a bunch of mock drafts like you said, right? This is the last 2 weeks.
It seems
I'm doing like two.
Right?
Like I'm just kind of just sitting at home just doing mock drafts like one right after the other, and then I get to a fucking live draft and then all my shit that I had homework with or had an idea kind of goes out the fucking window pretty damn quick, and I'm like, well, that was a waste of time.
I hate the most about some of your common live draft is that when people get to they quickly like they'll be like round 5 or 6 and they think they're in Reach City already. I'm like, hold on, you're not in Reach City yet. Reach City is fine when you're in like rounds like 8, 9 and up. You're like, okay, just go up and get your guy at that point. But like,
but it's funny because you can hear people talking shit, or you hear people hear someone mumble something, and then like everybody fucking head turns and they're like, oh, okay, let me see what the hell. What's this guy gonna pick up, or what did he say? And someone steals someone because someone has a big mouth, and wants to say something that they shouldn't have, and then all of a sudden someone fucking comes in and snakes someone else. Like it's funny because because I don't know, our live drafts, people are getting fucking drunk, so so
a little bit of drinking.
So people do some dumb shit, that they normally wouldn't do, especially if they're at home and and it tells you your best possible player, and then you don't know, like sometimes people are over to draft someone that's been drafted and they're like, hey, that guy's gone. Oh, that guy's gone. Oh, that guy's gone. Oh, that guy's gone. And you're like, oh, this guy's fucking toast the rest of the fucking game, the rest of the night or day or whatever you guys are doing shit. I'm like, just hoping you're after him so you can keep fucking up.
I'm a big proponent for cause I can drink, so I'm a big proponent for when someone's hella fucked up and you can clearly see it, you go, I'd rather take another shot.
Yeah, but once that happens, you get that guy start repeating the same name of oh, I'll take this guy. He's been drafted already. All right, well, I'll take this guy then. He's been drafted already.
Irritating as fuck.
So that's the only issue with feeding that guy drinks. He will continue to call out guys that have been drafted.
But I'll take Tom Brady. Bro, he's not in the league, asshole.
Someone else
call out a name. Sometimes he'll call it a name that's been taken in the 4th round already, way gone. It's the 10th round. He's like, bro, I'm getting steal right here. Fucking steal. No one's gotten this guy.
I'm telling you, man. Hey, we had homies like that would look at the rest of us like assholes because they were like, how did you not know this guy's still on the board? And bro, he got drafted in the 3rd round. He's like, I'll take Patrick Mahomes. How dare you guys not get Patrick Mahomes? They're like, bro, he was the 8th pick. It's
shout out to the Heart to Start. When they do their live drafts, if you say a name that's already been drafted, it's a mandatory shot.
Oh, we need to start doing that shit.
Yeah,
so we were skipping people for a round. That was one thing you got skipped. But I like getting a shot a lot better.
Well, so for example, in our Vegas draft this year, I was like, we should have one person doing the stickers and then one person announcing the picks. And I said, if we're gonna live stream it, I'll announce every pick just so it's
okay.
For people that aren't just visual learners, they need an audible too, right? And it really sticks.
Yeah.
Because it is annoying when we're doing a 14-team draft with full IDPs. So we get to round 10, 11, there's already people that now they're stalling out. And it's yo, your minute is almost up, bro. And they're out there, oh, hold on. And I'm like, okay, we got to be way more organized than this next year when we do, you know what I mean?
I'm glad we're not the only ones who fucking couldn't figure shit out for 4 or 5 years in a row.
Jong-un of fantasy is our commissioner. So he'll literally put you on a minute, boom, minute. But before your minute is on, he's letting you know, hey, you're on deck. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Such and such is on the clock. Boom, his thing goes up. Boom, you're on. And so he has no problem skipping people. And then you know what I mean? Or
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because believe me.
But
you gotta learn something.
And there's always this one. Shout out to our homie Shannon. He's the guy that's been skipped a few times because he just you know what I mean, eats that minute up, then he tries to hold it up, and it's no, we're not doing this every year, bro. You know what I mean?
That's fucking goddamn Chili. Fucking Chili, your cousin Mark, fucking we have a few of those people in our fucking leagues.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like I said, they're not as uncommon as you think. That's for damn sure.
That's good to know that we're not the only dysfunctional fucks out there. So I don't feel so bad.
It's quite amazing that we pull these things off, actually, because nobody.
Dude, you don't understand anything more true. Sometimes after we're done, I look at the board. I'm like, holy shit, Tyler, we actually got through this thing.
I had one of my best drafts ever, and I'm the reigning champion. That's the belt right there. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the ones we drafted in Vegas last year. I was there. You know what I mean? Fear, loathing, and law. I was Stunner S. Thompson.
When's your draft coming up, right?
But for copyright infringement purposes, Stunner S. Thompson.
Your draft's coming up here soon, Bogey?
For sure. And I remember even at one point I had to go take a dump. And they couldn't find me. They're like, oh, you're on deck. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then they're like, oh, now you're on the clock. And I'm like, Brian Thomas Jr. from the shitter. Round 8, actually. Round 8. And I was like, bro,
you could have been just naming you a piece of shit.
That was one of the key components of that ship. You know what I mean? I want to say I came right out. Pretty sure I washed my hands. I'm OCD. You know what I mean? I come out there and I'm like, I was quick on the swing around. I was 13.
Fucking coming out, high fiving everybody. High five, everybody. High five. High five.
I was 13 out of the 14, so I swung back around, took Chase Brown.
Yeah, I know.
Another one who led me to the promised land. So it was just like,
I'm shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Brian Thomas Jr. heard it first here. Brian Thomas Jr. is a lucky piece of shit. These bogeys a lucky piece of shit there. So, yeah, that should be on his
really
t-shirt.
The mushrooms and the molly. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was from the shitter. It's just.
Hey, so when is your draft? Since you got your draft in Vegas coming up here soon, right?
Yep, end of August. It's our yearly trip. It's actually now that this will be our third time running with the pretty much this core group of individuals that we got. So it's a tradition at this point. You know what I mean?
Hey,
and,
I love the tradition.
Homies out. There's like 30 plus of us that are gonna be out there.
Hey.
There's a gang of us.
Maybe, like I said, I know I definitely can't do it this year, but who knows what next year?
For sure.
Like, so we'll see.
Oh, we're gonna build up the anticipation for the crook and the mouth to pull to Vegas with us. You know what I mean? We might pull off some surprise or something. Maybe we get rich.
Like a special guest.
Yeah, well,
I just need some pyro. I need an entrance. I might need an entrance. Another entrance song is for pyro though. Coming through. Getting kicked out the casino real quick.
Yeah.
I know the mouth has a wedding coming up here, so he might be a little focused on something there.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna put some money to the side for a little pre-Vegas trip before next November comes up.
You never know. You win over there. I mean, that could pay for the wedding. So
I mean, hopefully that's already taken care of. I don't have to worry about that. So I can convince the whole fiance that I got to go to Vegas before I go to Nashville.
Here's the thing: like since we did it 2 years in a row, this year it came around like January or February, like right after the Super Bowl. We was already talking about it, and then boom, we're like, all right, let's just lock down the spots already and get everybody involved. And that the ones that's real serious, they dropped the bread right away, and which was all the repeat offenders. I mean, everybody's we pretty much had close to 100% attendance again. And then we got Lee. Like Lee's coming out this year. It's the first time we're gonna actually meet Lee IRL, which I have he's actually a robot. We're gonna meet Lee and see if I have a theory. He's one of them like 1980s robots though. So you know what I mean? They stopped updating it. You know what I mean?
No, I know. That means he can't drink water. That means he can't
drink
like
the Windows 95 on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's gonna prove to me that he's human. Because I feel like he's a robot. He doesn't sleep.
Please confirm to us later after whether yay or nay if he's
You just stab him with the fork in the chest, like.
If he takes a drink of water, if he drinks water and malfunctions, he's not.
I was like, give him like 4 shots of tequila straight. They need you to drink these 4 shots back to back to tell me that you're a fucking human.
I love tequila.
So let's talk about some of these rankings.
Tequila is actually only one of 2 alcohols that serves as an upper versus like the cognacs and all that shit. But it's tequilas and sakis.
Oh, my favorites.
Right? And like I be getting amped as fuck off the tequila. And like people always go, that's the fight juice. And I go, and it makes sense now.
Yeah, that definitely does.
Good time on tequila. I'm not. That is
shit.
Hennessy makes me want to like grab the gun and shit. But like tequila.
My girl's family call me Mr. Tequila, so I mean, I'm literally I understand that one.
Tequila make me want to have a good time,
Mr. Tequila.
We're having a good time.
You can play
one more
the
thing with trash strategy I wanted to add, like.
Yeah. Everybody's getting a hug from me on tequila. Everybody's getting a hug. I'm cracking all kinds of backs.
Like single QB, I'm usually waiting on QB, but like I'm interested in this. I'm in targeting Joe Burrow a lot this year because Joe Burrow, I feel like there's people.
Oh man, he got me going,
and like he's
going last year.
He's gonna go like 5th or 6th off the board because I'm sure like most people are going to go in for the Josh Allens and the Lamars and the Jalen Hurts and the what is his name? Commander, what's his name? Commander Daniels.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And then I feel like that's when people start thinking about Joe Burrow right there at the 5th or 6th overall. And then like, and so I don't know, Joe Burrow, say he's like we're in the 4th or 5th round, and I can get a Joe Burrow. He's definitely scoring more than anyone I'm drafting in those rounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I love the Joe Burrow specifically. Otherwise, like I don't mind waiting like on a Stafford or a Dak, or even grabbing a Stafford and or a Dak or Jared Goffel, and then I can get one of those 3 and then pair him up with a JJ, because I feel like JJ should go late. And JJ could be fun. If Sam Darnold can do it, why can't JJ? And then
So I wanted to ask
I play mostly super flex, but this is like if I'm in a single QB, this is shit I would do. I was never afraid to go and pinpoint a QB I like, as long as I feel like if I'm drafting that QB, he's scoring more points than anyone I'm drafting in that area. You know what I mean?
But how comfortable or how do you feel about drafting a quarterback, a rookie quarterback like a Cam Ward? Or like last year, we had Jaden Daniels, we had Caleb Williams. They guaranteed the starting role.
Jaden Daniels finished in the top 10. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So how comfortable do you feel about rookie quarterbacks coming in here? And
I usually let other people do it for me, because people are going to pick and choose where they feel these rookies should go. Like last year, everyone just took Caleb wherever they felt they should take him, and it was always too high for me. You know what I mean? And this year, again, you're kind of paying that similar price tag for a Caleb, because people are excited for year 2 with him and Ben Johnson, the second and third. So, but this year, I'm not jumping out the window for a Cam Ward or like, even Jackson Dart. Like, if he gets the gig eventually.
Cam Ward would have been like about the 6th or 7th fucking draft pick as a QB this year, not the number 1. So, that kind of tells you where he's at. And he's in Tennessee with what to throw to. So, I definitely, he might be someone I might take a flyer on, like for like a bye week, or if I see him kind of get hot, then I might pick him up because he's a free agent. Throw him on the bench.
20 something, that'd be awesome. But he's probably
exactly
QB 14 or QB.
Like he says, some knucklehead will take his ass and be like, oh, like I'll put him on my benches, and keep him for next year. As a keeper league, somebody will draft his ass all late and shit, and just keep him there.
Yeah, and then maybe you got him in like round 11 or something, and you're okay.
Yeah, like for value. Like I can see that happening.
Ball out.
He's not going to be anything different than that.
So you don't see the you don't think it's likely.
If I wanted to make a case for him, I'd say he's with the Callahans. Bill and Brian Callahan. Bill being the offensive line coach, and the pappy of Brian Callahan. But the reason everyone knows that Bill Callahan's offensive lines are always top 5, and they definitely were decent last year. So I'm pretty sure in year 2 of that system, that line's gonna be better. They're gonna lean on the run a fuck ton, because I'm sure that's what you're gonna do when you're rookie under center. But it is the guys that worked with Joe Burrow. I'm not saying he's Joe Burrow, but like they let Joe Burrow do his thing in Cincinnati. So you know what I mean?
So is there any likelihood that Cam Ward could have a Jaden Daniels-esque type of season?
I think like his ceiling, because like I think he's only like a 15, 16 passing touchdown guy in year 1, okay. Cam Ward. So no, to answer your question.
Yeah, no. Okay. To be honest, with the last 2 years, what happened with CJ Stroud and what happened with Daniels, that shit doesn't happen. Like, I get it, like with all these new 7-on-7s and everybody learning to air the ball out all in college, and the way they do shit, now kind of translate a little bit more, and the NFL kind of adopts a little bit more of the college game than ever did before.
He might run around.
So like he might be effective, somewhat, like you're saying. Yeah, exactly. He might run around and actually,
backyard football.
Do like have like 20-ish touchdowns and maybe 4 or 5 running. So he might have some decent games, but I don't see him like what happened with CJ Stroud and Daniels the last 2 years. That shit does not happen. Like, that's just, those guys were 2 freaking unicorns. CJ Stroud is this second year kind of came back to earth. You know what I mean? So
right,
we're gonna see what happens with Daniels next year or this year.
So, well, let's get into some of these camps, we get into the back end of the show here. Bogey, you were talking backstage that there was some intriguing camp battles that you're going to be kind of keeping your eye on, or some that, like I said, that you have some thoughts on you want to bring to our attention here. So what camp battles will you be looking at? Or are you interested in checking out?
So both these guys are gonna get work, but it's the Broncos backfield. They're both gonna get work, but I feel like there's a good chance that JK is the guy that we want to have because he'll be the value in your redraft leagues. But the hype is so high on Harvey, that alone is gonna make us get JK later. You know what I mean? So I'm interested in watching the camp battle because we're probably gonna see JK. Like, here's the thing: JK is gonna be able to pass protect. I don't know about this rookie, and they have the face of their franchise. They just got into the playoffs with them, so they're gonna want to protect Bro Nix. I think that's gonna really hurt Harvey, first of all. So I'm looking forward to this camp battle. See how who's running.
I want to see if Dobbins gets out of camp. This fucking guy has all the potential in the world, but he can't stay on the goddamn field. So that's the
facts.
That's the problem right there. You're like, he can have all the potential, but
I love the idea of Harvey a lot too. It's like I'm willing to have both of them. I hope they don't.
No, yeah, that's kind of why I think just out of default, Harvey might just have to get thrown in there because Thomas might not fucking be available.
It
really hasn't shown he can be.
Situation. So I'm curious to see who ends up being the 1A because I feel like it's going to be JK and he'll be later. Like we'll acquire him later in drafts.
Here's another running back battle there going on down south there with the
McLaughlin?
Texans. No, the Texans.
Oh, I'm sorry. You talking about
Joe Mixon and the recently signed Nick Chubbs, right?
Oh yeah. Over there in Houston.
How do you think? How intriguing are you with those guys, or intrigued are you with those guys? Do you see any kind of reason to draft Chubb maybe in the later rounds, or as a handcuff to Joe Mixon if you get him, or go after a rookie?
See, okay, this is interesting. I like this one you just brought up because Nick Chubb himself came out and was like, we're going to be like a vicious 1-2 punch with our physicality. Like, he went and said this, right? But I'm like, he's not the coach, right? And it's like, is he going to be more of a spare wheel, or is he going to be an actual, a part of a 1-2 punch, right? Because
it'd be interesting.
The spare wheel, I would hold on to him. You know what I mean?
And if pretty bad knee injuries the last few years. So.
Chubb didn't look too great last year. He was coming off an injury. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's looking good in those workout videos. We'll see. But it does feel more spare wheel to me. You know what I mean? Like, Mixon's going to get all of it. If anything happens to him, enter Nick Chubb. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
See Chubb being more a goal line vulture?
Yeah.
That could be a good thing.
Here's another thing. If you look at their career touchdowns, Joe Mixon is killing Nick Chubb in that category. You go back to Nick Chubb with the Browns. Even he had seasons with Kareem Hunt where they would put Kareem Hunt in the red zone because Kareem Hunt is a dual threat. So you're not just like, because if you have Nick Chubb down there, you're one dimensional. Look out for the run. Nick Chubb's not a guy who's going to roll out into the flat or you're going to have him run around or do anything but run the ball. So this is why I feel like Joe Mixon is still safe here. I do like the existence of there. Hopefully it scares people off Mixon and he falls a little farther because I would love to have, if I go heavy receiver and I'm able to snatch up a Joe Mixon in the fourth or fifth round, imagine that.
I would love to see Joe Mixon in the fifth round. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I would definitely love to see Joe Mixon in the fifth round.
So that could be your RB3 there. If you could get Joe Mixon as your RB3, that would be really nice.
Yeah, if you're going heavy RB. I love being in leagues with guys like that, though, because if they let them go heavy RB, I'm going to always go heavy receiver. I want my hands on as many of them elite receivers as possible. I'll figure out the running backs. You know what I mean? I always try to diagnose the mid round and late round targets to at running back position, right? So I ended up with a lot of Jordan Mason and Chase Brown and and Chuba and guys like that last year. This year, I'm like my small list so far that I've been compiling is like I like Javonte where he's going. Javonte Williams, even I fucking and JD is partly responsible for that one because he did a Javonte breakdown, and I Rico was one of my late round guys last year we targeted. They got the same system. I'm like, why can't Javonte do what Rico did at minimum last year? You know what I mean? And shout out to my man Rico Suave. So you know what I mean because he's over there with Chuba now, and like Chuba's more expensive this year, so. Maybe, and I'm still on Chuba too, but he's a mid-round guy now. No, he was a late mid-round guy.
He definitely showed some promise last year. That was one thing. I love when I picked him up. I said it last year, early on our show last year. I said something about him, and I knew the Panthers were a freaking buyer beware type of offense, but he was someone that just absolutely killed it for me last year.
Yeah, he was a solid running back too, for sure. Last year, it came out of nowhere. Mouth, is there any camp battles that you see out there that you?
Like one that kind of interests me, it's just weird because it's just a train wreck of a fucking organization. So who knows what's going to happen? And then fucking good old Cam Scatterboo with Tyrone Tracy in New York. Because I mean, who knows who's? I mean, it's supposed to be Russell Wilson as the QB, right? But then you got
Russell better.
You got Winston. You got Winston up there, and what are they going to do with that rookie? So I mean, if Cam Scatterboo if he takes anything of the momentum that he had at the end of his career at ASU, and he can translate it any kind of way, like he could be a sneaky fucking pick because he does that same thing. What you said, he's a 3-down back. He comes out of the backfield. You know what I mean? He might have that sneaky speed, like a good old, not as big as Mike Allstott, but he has that little bulldozer mentality. He runs between the tackles, and he can take it to the outside. So I mean, like that's just insane to kind of see him with Tyrone Tracy, see how that works out, because I think that could be something just to keep your eye
on. Brian Dayball, he came out and said a number of times this offseason since the draft, they've stated that they want their version of a 1-2 punch, but their version of Monty and Gibbs. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'll believe that when I see it too, because Brian Dayball has a true history of feeding one running back. Like you look at wherever he's been, they just like feeding one guy. So this is an interesting camp battle because if he stays true to what he's shown us for years, one of these guys is going to emerge and be the guy. You know what I mean? I mean, look at Tracy when he got his opportunity last year. He was the guy the rest of the way. You know what I mean? They just want to feed one guy. When Singletary the year before, that's all they had. Boom, they fed Singletary like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like
it's just interesting to see how that camp battle shakes out. And especially something like that because
Cam's got to do a lot. I also like Tyrone Tracy a lot, and I'm hoping that one of those guys emerges as the clear and cut guy to have, because that way they're not vulturing the fuck out of each other. You know what I mean? Because that's
exactly.
It's also going to be a bad offense. Would you think? That's why I need it to be Russell Wilson. So it's at least.
I mean, I think it's going to be a bad O-line still because they haven't really shown the ability to fix that anytime soon. Facts. I mean, they've been a bad offensive line for the last 10 years. It hasn't mattered who the damn head coach is. They just haven't figured that out. So, I mean, we'll see how that works.
Would you say Scatterboo's the more pass-catching back out of the two, or are they both decent hands?
I mean,
because of Russell Wilson throwing the ball, he's more of a check-down guy now. So whoever
Jacob, he's a violent-ass runner, and he can catch the ball too. And he does have some ball security issues. And what do you know? So does Tyrone Tracy. You know what I mean? So it is kind of, I'm very interested in
Tracy got benched last year because at the end of the middle end of the year, he kind of lost his job for a little bit because he did come out hot. Tracy did come out hot, and he looked really good.
Here's the thing: if the team was losing, but he was. Why do they? Gay. There's that. So I do like Cam Scatterboo quite a bit. I mean, and I would imagine he would be the Montgomery of that offense if that's what they're saying, that they want to kind of replicate their version of the Detroit backfield. Cool.
I'm just interested to see how his speed translates to NFL. I've seen him break away. I've seen him break away quite a bit of times at ASU. You know what I mean? And in some big games, I'm surprised he dropped as low as he did.
Remember the Niners were hella looking at him. That's so.
No, exactly. So I definitely watched. He went up against some good defenses and still had good games. So it's not like he wasn't just beating Boise State in the head or fucking Illinois or whoever. He was out there doing it against while he was getting scouted and he went out there and did some things. So it was crazy to see how far he dropped. So I think he has that chip on his shoulder. Go out there and just knock some people's fucking head off. So we'll see how that works out.
Just based on the negative game scripts, they have on paper the literal hardest schedule in the NFL, which is kind of crazy. If you look at the schedule, you'll understand what I'm saying. But so maybe the negative game script is eminent for them. I would want the Tyrone Tracy if he's gonna be the guy catching the ball. I want that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On a team that's probably gonna be chucking the ball a bazillion times.
Like I said, that check down, if he's a check down merchant with Russell. You know what I mean? Then Scottaboo shows he's that guy. He might get all those first down, move the marker type of things. So he might come out of nowhere and have that 80 rushing yards and 60 catches and maybe a touchdown. When especially in the PPR league, where he has that 4 or 5 catches and an extra touchdown to make it get you past that. Get you past that 20
run a
mark.
shitload of plays there too with Brian Daboll. They're a fairly fast moving offense. They're not sluggish. So there is a world where, if they're running, 50, 60 plays on offense, you know what I'm saying? And, it's fairly even between the run pass ratio. Yeah, there's
pretty much it's neighbors and who else out there. So, it's going to be pretty much the running backs. I can see a lot of them both eating, to be honest, because who else they have besides neighbors?
Yeah.
So
it's pretty much Nabbers or bust for me in redraft when it comes to New York, though, in fantasy. But
one of the camps or battles I'm looking at in camp is in the Vikings there in the division between Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones. And I know, like I said, Aaron Jones had a good season last year, but he's getting to 30 years old. That's usually when running backs start to kind of slow down a bit. Jordan Mason being someone they just traded for and gave a contract to as well. And he's an explosive runner. He's in the top 10 of 10 yards or more, plays at 10 yards or more. So
yeah, he was a bum.
That sounds like being a bitter bitch right there. That's what that
whatever.
But
whatever.
That's one of the ones I know on paper it says Aaron Jones is the starting guy, but it wouldn't surprise me if at the end of the season it's Jordan Mason being the starter there.
Well, he's definitely gonna knock on that door. He's definitely gonna knock on that door.
At any given point, they have to take. At one point, they're gonna have to take another good look at Air 5 over there in Indy, right? But Danny Dimes probably gonna start off, and they're gonna try to compete. And then the moment they're out, they're gonna be all right. Let's see Richardson again. You know what I mean?
No, well, with the Vikings, we're talking about Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason running back. Like that.
Oh, my bad. I thought you said Daniel Jones. I'm zoning. Oh yeah, the Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones has always been at his best when he's in a timeshare. So, and
yeah, he had a lot of that in Green Bay
in the red zone. So if you
he's
relegated to third down work and hurry up situations, things of that nature, and being the red zone back, because you can give all the heavy lifting to Jordan Mason. And you basically got a rookie under center, right? Even though it's his second year. This is his time as a starter. So you're going to lean on the run. You know what I mean? I like Jordan Mason to be a good value. And I feel like people are going to take Aaron Jones before Jordan Mason this year. You know what I mean? So Jordan Mason definitely on my later round targets at that position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know who's not the healthiest? Aaron Jones. So it's I'd rather just wait and get Mason. And
you definitely snaked him for me in our dynasty draft. I had him on my radar, and I was like, oh, this guy. And then got Jordan Mason. I was like, of course, this Manor fan would come take Jordan Mason.
I was born a super young team, and I needed startable running backs because I didn't go outside of Caleb Johnson. I totally did a different quote unquote strategy. Plus, you know what I'm saying, I wanted to go super young. And I feel like, as long as I'm balanced, I might have a chance of being a wild card, but I totally don't think that team specifically is like a heavy hitter this year. But yeah,
crazier things have
happened. And a lot of those pieces, they're all for sale. If you want Jordan Mason, come on.
It's like we can talk about them when the season starts.
Yeah, my people have your people call my people.
Yeah.
Hey, like my favorite guy always used to say, everyone's got a price for the $1 million man.
Yeah. Teddy.
Yes.
Just name it, baby.
The $1 million man.
Mr. Money.
Well,
I send you a warm PBR and a half-eaten freaking bologna sandwich. How about that?
What kind of bread?
That will not get the deal done, sir.
I mean, he said, "What kind of bread?" We talking. Grown folks are talking. He said, "What kind of bread?"
That's a starting point. And you're starting at the barrel of the bottom with the PPR and the fucking.
Hey man, what the fuck? Hey, what Doc? You don't just throw out your good shit right away. What the fuck? Gotta negotiate.
Yeah,
like I said, there are those guys that do like to negotiate like that, where they throw out a trade offer where you're like, "Are you actually serious with this piece of shit here?" Like,
I'm like, well, I mean, I might draft a kicker. He might need a kicker. I don't know what the fuck.
Don't be that guy in the draft in your league.
Our home leagues that have kickers, and he always holds 2 kickers. It's so stupid. He drafts 2 kickers. I'm like, you're an idiot.
Hey, we had a guy draft. We had a guy draft 3 defenses, so I mean, like, he's not too far off.
That's not working. And this guy has never won it. I hope I'm not reverse jinxing him into winning it this year, because fuck this guy. But anyways, his name's Adam, by the way. Fuck you, Adam. If you're watching,
fuck you, Adam.
Fuck you, Adam. Anyway, this guy, he drafts 2 kickers, and it'd be like, we have like 3 weeks till kickoff, and I'm like, yo, why you don't even need to hold any kicker. I don't know, teach their own.
Bro, if he still drafts Justin Tucker this year, it'd still be kind of funny. You're just like, you know what? I'll allow that. You go ahead and have that kicker.
They're like, good job. Round of applause. I'll
give you a golf clap for that.
I don't want to ruin the locker room morale by bringing in a guy like
Yeah, someone else want a massage. Someone else want a goddamn massage. It's like, hey, can I get a turntable?
I would respect Justin Tucker if he just takes a job with the Browns.
Yeah.
I don't think he's on the exempt list either. I think he just got cut by the Ravens. Unless he is on the exempt list, then no one can sign him. You know what I mean? But
I think he has like an 8 or 9 game suspensions coming right now. So if anybody gets him, he's
gonna be like, you know what? Bring Justin Tucker in. They witnessed Justin Tucker kick several field goals on them.
Yeah, they definitely seen him kick some fucking bombs on pass.
He might.
So with a few minutes, we got like a few minutes left here. I wanted to ask you about one other 3-headed juggernaut there in Tampa Bay with Sean Tucker, Bucky Irving, and Rashad White or Rasheed White.
Yeah,
that's a fucking nightmare. That's
it's clear and cut for me. Both of those running backs finished in the top 24, but it's clear and cut for me. It's Bucky's he's the clear and cut starter.
These guys are going to start definitely, but man, it's a long season and they rotated any given week. Any given week they rotated.
2 years ago, but there was a reason why I drafted Bucky, because Bucky is a legit running back. Rashad White is a volume guy. His metrics are always going to be poor, like all his yards per carry, all the things. But when you give him the volume, you know what I mean. He eats. You know what I'm saying? Based on volume alone. But then also now that he's not getting the volume and he's the pass catching back, and it's funny is because he's the bigger back, but he's the pass catcher and he can pass pro. And then here's Bucky's the smaller guy. And they use him as the fucking bruiser. You know what I
mean? That's why I say it's a nightmare scenario over there because it's all upside down world.
Would you feel better if they traded one of the two? Do you think that would
Rashad White still though, man? Like, imagine if anything happens to Bucky, Rashad White gets all of it. So like, and Rashad White is very affordable, even though he finished in the top 24 last year. People they just aren't even drafting him. They only want Bucky, and you can get
he'll be a free agent later in the double. Somebody might get him in the 14th round just to put him on the end of the bench.
That's what I'm saying. And even if you don't have Bucky, I'm okay doing that. You know what I mean? Like, that first week of football is always crucial. Like, that's another strategy just to add to one more tidbit there, going back to the other topic. But, at the end of your draft, instead of holding like some of these like rookie receivers and stuff that like, instead of holding a Jack Besh or a Knoll, a Jalen Knoll, guys like that, I'd rather have somebody's handcuff, a Charbonnet or a fucking Rashad White, because man, week 1 motherfuckers go down sometimes, right? You know what I mean? And then now all of a sudden you already beat the waiver.
Christian McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, well,
We'll
see. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Don't put that in the fucking universe, you jackass. What's wrong with you?
Bro, what are the chances of it happening 2 years in a row? Come on, you know.
I mean, that's as good as me freaking Bangkocking when I see you. That's about as good as that's.
Dude, no, that's definitely.
Yeah, come here, suck up. How gay right there. Got that for you.
Get that checked out, Mouth. That's not normal. That's not normal.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Punch you right in the dick. I'm just saying, punch you right in the dick.
Pause.
I believe you. Exactly. This is supposed to be a kid-friendly show, but not.
Where's the kids at?
Yeah.
Go get your parents. Tell them to tune in too.
Yeah, tell your parents guys, why are you watching this? We need
no kidding. It's like, where's your parents? And then you watch this nonsense.
Bro, no, they stumbled across our channel. That's for damn sure. Bogey, please let the fine people know where they can find you. I know you have a show, Playmakers, tomorrow, so let the good people know where they can go and check you out here at the Clubhouse.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Once again, pleasure being coming back to the Clubhouse. You know what I mean? I think my members jacket might be coming in soon. You know what I mean? Like, you know, part of the club, right? But so shout out to the entire Chicago Clubhouse.
We already got one 49ers fan. I don't know if we can do another.
And but yeah, you can definitely
get the quota.
Yeah, you can definitely find me anywhere you consume your music: Apple, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube, things of that nature. Search Bogard, Scott Free. And if you're looking for any fantasy content, like what my man was just talking about, our show, the Real Fantasy Playmakers, every Thursday night for the duration of this off season. And it's at 7:00 p.m. West Coast time on the Gen Wealth Net on YouTube.
Very nice, very nice. Mouth from the Bay, do you have any final words for these fine people at the Clubhouse before we say goodbye to them?
No, it's just, just love doing this every week. This is what we do. Just chop it up for an hour. And if those little kids do find us, go get your parents and have them tune in and hit the like button and subscribe and do all that shit, because we need that. We need the subscribers. Get to that 1,300 and all that good stuff. But this is what we do every time. And I can't wait for that training camp to start up, and that like you said, that Hall of Fame game, because it's go time. It's like what, seven Sundays or something like that to football.
End of the month, I think.
It's yeah. It's one of those things you're gonna wake up and you're gonna smell that fresh cut grass and you're like,
it's freaking. It's always Christmas in August. I don't know. It's always Christmas in August.
I love the holidays.
This is for those kids out there that may be
Next
watching.
Next time you hear grown folks talking, shut the fuck up here.
Exactly.
You hear me now? So, anyways, guys, Bogey, thank you for again joining us, coming back to the Clubhouse.
Sir, absolutely. Always welcome. Bring your ass.
Always a good
Bring your ass
back. Always a good time.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Please, like we always say to all our guests at the Clubhouse,
come back.
Come back. All right.
Will do.
All right, guys, everyone, please hit the thumbs up button. Please check out our main show, which is on Tuesday night, for all the Bears talk that you can take. So we have T. Nick, Frank the Tank, Foulmouth C, and JB Stats. Last few nights, we have been having on guests coming on routinely, some former NFL players and whatnot. And then also, T. Nick is giving out tickets to the preseason game, Bears preseason game, since he's a ticket holder. So if you guys are in the Chicago area, you're interested in going to a Bears preseason game,
nobody wants that.
The main show.
Nobody wants that.
Shut the hell up, man. I'm trying to sell something here. Yeah. Anyways, but no, guys, if like I said, we're on going into week 4. Like I said, he's giving out a word every week. So if you've missed it, go back, check out the previous shows to get the words to spell out the sentence that he's going to have. So the person that can give him that sentence will win the tickets to the game. So
yeah, go Niners. That's what the sentence is.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
You tell all those Cardinals out there in Arizona we're coming.
They can suck it. That's what they can.
You let them.
Thank you again for tuning in at the Clubhouse. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button and share us. Remember, guys, be safe out there, be good out there. But hell, if you can't be good, damn it, at least be good at it.
You got to decide whether you're a wolf or a sheep.
Wolves.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.